What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This here's Legitical Response. We cover political news, but we also cover the election. We cover stuff the candidates say, and I'm going to be doing a lot more of this because, as we get closer and closer and closer to the election, these candidates and all this stuff that's going on between Harris and Trump and all this garbage, we need to bring some of this stuff to light because we need to vote for somebody in this election, and we don't need to vote for the other person. And I'm going to give you my opinion right off. I think the only candidate that makes any sense is Donald Trump. Let's go ahead and get into it right quick. Harris pledges to work to end taxes on tips for service industry employees, echoing Trump vow. That's interesting. This is very interesting. Oh, now she's trying to steal some of Donald Trump's ideas because it happens to be a popular idea. That was great when it came out. I thought, hey, that's a very good thing to run on. That's a very good thing to run on because I worked as a waiter for a few years in my life, and I never paid taxes on any tips because I worked at a Pizza Hut and I didn't make that much tips, and we didn't have to file that. But a lot of places do. And I don't think that's right because it's a gift. Now, you could argue that a lot of places, they have a certain wage for people that make tips because they make the majority of their money on tips and they get below minimum wage. So it should be taxed. But, however, once again, getting back to the base point, tips are a gift. And these places pay just enough to make a living wage, or at least it used to be. I don't think it is anymore, but it used to be just enough to get by. But let's get into it. Vice President Kamala Harris promised Saturday to work to eliminate taxes on tips paid to restaurant and other service industry employees, echoing a pledge that her opponent, Republican Donald Trump, has made and marking a rare instance of political overlap from both sides. That's not really rare. That used to be very common. I'll say that. It used to be very, very common. But today it's getting more and more rare because the Democrats and progressives are pushing the left so far away from normality that, our policy positions are night and day. And it shocks me to believe that a lot of people are backing the Kamala Harris and the very progressive policies that they have. It's just insane to me. Why would you want to push society in such a direction like that? It blows my mind. But let's go. Harris made the announcement at a rally on the campus of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, where the economy relies heavily on the hotel, restaurant, and entertainment industries. Trump vowed essentially the same thing at his own rally in the city in June, though neither he nor her are likely to be able to fully do that without actions from Congress. So what? That's what a president does. Obviously, they work with Congress. Say, hey, this is something the people want. Why don't y'all write up a bill and I'll pass it? That's normal. Duh. Obviously, the president isn't going to be able to just take executive action and say, yeah, we're going to eliminate taxes on tips. Of course they're going to have to go through Congress. It is my promise to everyone here that when I am president, we will continue our fight for working families of America, Harris said, including to raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers. Now, this is very, very interesting when you think about it. You gotta love it. Current Vice President Kamala Harris is saying that when she is president, she's going to work for families. Why are you not doing that right now, Kamala Harris? This is something you got to love. You got to love about the incumbency, right? They get out there on the campaign and they talk about they're going to do this and they're going to do this and they're going to do this. Well, why are you not doing those things currently? Why did you not already do those things? This is something that I can't stand about politicians. It's pandering. They're lying to people. They have no intention of doing this, or they would have already tried it. They would have already started some sort of legislation, worked on something, made a speech about it, but crickets. You hear nothing. But they get out there on the campaign trying to say they're going to do this and this and this and this. If they're not already doing it, that means they're not going to do it. But Democrat voters just buy right into it. Republicans do it too. So I'm trying to be, I'm trying to be unbiased on this one because Republicans do that as well. And it pisses me off. And what really aggravates me, though, is people buying into it. It's like, come on, you can't see they're just trying to buy your vote, essentially, right? Like with all the student loan relief that Joe Biden was trying to give out. He was trying to buy votes, knowing the Supreme Court turned him down. As a matter of fact, a lot of that's still going through. Still trying to go through the courts. Courts are putting injunctions here and there and every freaking where, trying to stop Joe Biden because it's unconstitutional. But, did Joe Biden try to go through Congress to do this? No, he didn't. He tried to do it on his own. That's very unconstitutional. And Kamala Harris was right there alongside. But you won't hear nothing but crickets from these people on this issue. It's just insane to me. Why are they not currently doing the thing that they're supposed to be doing? And I love it when Kamala Harris starts talking about the border, because that's another campaign promise. She's going to fix the broken immigration system. Why? No, I'm sorry. You, Kamala Harris, cannot run on that at all. Shut your mouth, really, because you've had 4 years to do it, and you haven't done a damn thing. You went to go find the root causes, and you came back and told the American people nothing. Did you even do anything? That's my question. Trump responded on his social media site a short time later, posting that Harris just copied my no taxes on tips policy. That's fair. The difference is she won't do it. She just wants it for political purposes, the former president wrote. This was a Trump idea. She has no ideas. She can only steal from me. That's not really fair. She does have her own ideas. They just so happen to be garbage ideas, Trump. But he is right. She stole that idea from him. You can't run on that. I'm sorry. Because you've had 4 years to do it. And you haven't done it. Just because he says it, you think it's a good idea. Now you're going to run on a campaign promise to do so. Why not do it right now? Why not try to get Congress to write up legislation to do this? Single subject bill, get it through Congress, pass it before January. How about that, Kamala? You could do that. That's very feasible to get that done in that amount of time. Do that instead of running on that. You'll get a lot more votes. I can promise you that. You go ahead and do something like that, you'll get a lot more votes. But she won't, because she has no intention of doing that. Harris's campaign said afterward that as president, she would work with Congress to draft a proposal that includes an income limit and other provisions to keep hedge fund managers and lawyers from structuring their compensation to try to take advantage of the policy. She would also push for the proposal alongside one to increase federal minimum wage. And there you go. That just proves my point. She's going to try to buttress this up with some sort of raising of minimum wage, so Congress won't pass it, so this won't get through, so she doesn't care. It's ridiculous. These politicians do nothing but piss me off. Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, came to Nevada as the final stop of a five battleground state blitz in which their party has shown new energy after President Joe Biden exited the race and endorsed Harris. On Sunday, the vice president is holding a San Francisco fundraiser that has already raised more than $12 million, her campaign said, with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi among those to speak. There were 12,000 plus people inside the campus basketball arena on Saturday, and before the event started, local law enforcement halted entry to the event because people were becoming ill while waiting outside the 109-degree heat to go through security. About 4,000 people were already in line when the entrances were closed. Walz referenced that during his speech, but turned it into an applause line by telling Nevada, "Don't worry, we're going to be back a lot." As part of the trip, Harris is hoping to build greater support among Latino voters in 2020. Biden narrowly defeated Trump by 2.4 percentage points in Nevada. The 60,000 strong Culinary Workers Union announced its endorsement of Harris. About 54% of the union's members are Latino, 55% women, and 60% immigrants. This is something that I've never understood, at least since Trump has been on the scene. Why do these unions support Democrats when Democrats never vote in the interests of unions, never vote in the interests of the average everyday working American? Never. Right? I'm not going to say Republicans do either, but Donald Trump, that's been the majority of his entire campaign. Bring back manufacturing, build up the middle class, and try to take the lower class out of poverty. That's all Trump talks about a lot. Or at least in 2016 he did. Right? Bring back manufacturing, secure our southern border. Why do the unions constantly endorse Democrats when, once again, Democrats show time and time again that they don't care about middle America. They don't care about the low income people. They just care about the Democrat elites, and that's it. That's all they seem to care about, right? The Republican Party is supposed to be the party of the big corporations, but that's not how I see it. That is not how I see it at all. There has been a major shift since Donald Trump has come into this thing, and that's why Republicans are so strong nowadays. It's insane to me why all these unions back when I can almost guarantee you most of the union members do not vote for Democrats. The union also issued a statement supporting Harris's call for a higher minimum wage and to ensure that there are no taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers. Harris made her promise on eliminating tip taxation as part of a broader appeal to strengthen the nation's middle class, seizing on a theme that was a centerpiece of Biden's now defunct re-election bid. Yeah, well, how come they're not doing that? How come they haven't done that? They've destroyed the middle class with their insane policies. Why don't these people in these places see that? They don't read the news, they don't pay attention, and they just say, oh, well, the Democrats are working for us, and keep voting for insane policies, and the economy is most certainly starting to show these insane policies. We believe in a future where we lower the cost of living for America's families so they have a chance, not just to get by, but to get ahead, she said. Why haven't you done anything about it? We know that our immigration system is broken, and we know what it takes to fix it. Insane. Harris said in Las Vegas. She also endorsed an earned pathway to citizenship for some people in the country illegally and slammed Trump, who she said talks a big game about border security, but he does not walk the walk. What? What? That's an outright lie. I'm sorry. That is pretty much Donald Trump's entire platform. Right? I just said it earlier. Bring back manufacturing to America and secure our southern border is Donald Trump's campaign. Outright. And once again, not to be repeating myself, but they have had 4 years to do something about immigration. And what they have done is allowed 15 to 20 million people to come across our southern border illegally. They have also subsidized these people by giving them debit cards with thousands of dollars a month, giving them luxury hotels, giving them your kids' high school gyms, for crying out loud. Now they're trying to give them Medicare. I covered that story the other day. They're trying to give these people health insurance. That's insane to me. They've allowed way too many people for me to be okay with that, right? Like, normally, you get a couple 100,000 a year. I could care less. I'm not covering that issue because that doesn't really bother me that much because it's not that many people. But when you have 10 to 15 to possibly 20 million criminal aliens come across the country and you're subsidizing their way of life, you're subsidizing these people. That's what it is. These people's everyday life is subsidized by the United States government. For crying out loud, this is insane to me. We're borrowing money to give to people that's not supposed to be here. And she's talking about trying to fix the immigration system? No, I'm sorry. That's not going to fly with anybody. Anybody who's honest about this situation knows that the Biden-Harris ticket, the Harris-Walz ticket, most certainly will not do anything about our border. They will just continue what has been going on for the past 4 years, and we will get, by the end of a Harris-Walz administration, we will have possibly up to 40 million criminal aliens in this country. Because do you think it's going to slow down if they get elected? No, it's only going to increase, and they're not going to do a damn thing about it. They're just going to open the border even more than it already is, and it's going to destroy this country. It is actively destroying this country. We saw that with this past week with the stock market crashing because a failed jobs report comes out, and boom, people are fearing a Kamala Harris presidency. The economy is fearing a Kamala Harris presidency. Regulate these companies into the ground, make them pay their fair share, make your wages stagnate. That's what they want. That's the end result of their insane policies. I'm sorry, I know that's a partisan take. It's a very biased take, but that's what I'm seeing. I read the news constantly, and that's what I see coming from these people. Sorry, I might be a little bit more informed than the average everyday person because I read the news. And I read more than just the stories I cover, right? I read through a lot of news to cover some of the stories that I cover, right? I'm pretty much forced to read stories because I'll see a headline and read it out, be like, I might cover this. And there's days where I've got 5 or 6 stories in the chamber that I want to cover. I just don't have the time to do it because I have a day job and I have a kid and I've got a lot of stuff to do, right? This already takes up a lot of my time. But I've got to get it done. I've got to get some of these stories out there. But I read a lot of news, and that is what I'm seeing. I am not sure how our economy has been okay for as long as it has without a stock market crash, without terrible jobs reports, right? I think it's because people need their jobs, and these companies are just barely getting by. Everything is just stagnating, which is not good. It's not good at all, because after a little while of stagnation, just like when you're treading water out in the middle of the ocean, you're eventually going to get tired. You're eventually going to run out of steam, and you're going to start sinking, and you're eventually going to drown. And that is the result of these far left progressive Democrat policies, in my opinion. But y'all let me know what y'all's opinion is. That's all I got for this one, y'all. I want to thank everybody for watching. Y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.